Chapter 27. Into the Den of Nightmares. Just as I had suspected, the roof of the building was completely missing. I wasn't sure if it had been damaged in the war or if the creatures destroyed it when making their nest. Thankfully, it was relatively clean on the other side of the window, so we shouldn't have any issues getting in. Getting out, on the other hand, might prove to be more problematic. Since I was the smallest one, I told the brothers to hang back and keep an eye out for me. They were hesitant at first, but after an intense staring session with them, they backed down. Did those stories really paint me as such a dangerous mammal? I really hope not. That might make things like trading hard in the future. Maybe I should tone it down a notch. Inside there was not much floor left to walk on. A giant hole formed most of the room we were in. I tried to see how far down it went, but even with my binoculars, it looked too deep to tell. Guess if you have wings, a vertical drop is nothing to worry about. Since there was no signs of any ladders or steps leading down, we might have to find another way. Across the gap was a door that led deeper into the house. I turned around and waved them in. She must be down there, but I can't tell how far down it goes. Nate moved to the edge of the hole and kicked a small piece of debris down into it. Nate, what are you doing? I tried to keep my voice as quiet as I could, but my voice still echoed in the room. Trying to see how far down it goes. What? The edge of this is so rough that they must be used to something small dropping in. There it is. I would say it's probably 30 feet down. Well, that's quite the drop. Any ideas, Olivia? What if we... I was cut off by a small noise coming from the bottom of the hole. It sounded like wind, or wings. Hide! We ran through the open door on the other side of the room. This room, what appeared to have once been a kitchen, was surprisingly intact, despite the roof being missing. We ducked under a large table in the middle of the kitchen. We could all fit, but we had to squeeze uncomfortably together. I felt something moving around my waist. I reached back and... Is that... No, not now. How good's their eyesight? I had to keep my mind preoccupied. Pretty good, but their sense of smell's even better. Sense of... Fuck. You mean a smell like, 200-year-old shit? Yeah. Oh. Oh? Why is it that whenever people are about to get discovered, they answer with such a simple word? Not, we should have brought some deodorant, or maybe they won't smell us, but just, fuck me. Maybe they won't smell us? Nate! I wanted to smack him. Look on the bright side. If they eat us, they won't like how we taste. I never want to give them that satisfaction. I heard one of them start to say something, but it was cut off by the sound of not one, but 2 death wings flying from the hole. We were in such a position that we couldn't see the hole, but I folded back my ears and chanced a peek above us. I saw the outline of one of them, just hovering above us. But where's the other one? As if I was answering my own thought, I saw the wolfish head of one poke through the doorway. Fuck, we're dead. I felt Nate's tail tighten around my waist. Was he doing that on purpose? Or just out of fear? Either way, it felt... Okay, Olivia. Mind back to the thing that's probably going to kill us. It slowly moved into the room. We were all trying to bunch together as close as possible to prevent it from detecting us. It had the home field advantage over us. It slowly moved into the room. I was too scared to pop my head out. And I knew that even if we all jumped out, guns blazing, and killed it, its friend above us, along with the countless ones below, would descend upon us before we could react. No, we had to wait it out as long as possible. Clicking noises alerted me to its oversized claws hitting the ceramic floor as it slowly moved across the room. It moved around the table, and I could hear it taking large sniffs of the air, as if it was trying to find out where that, hopefully not delectable aroma was coming from. The table moved slightly as I heard it thump on top of it. I think it just... Shh! Quiet! It made a chirping noise. I didn't know if it was trying to talk, or if it was just happy it found lunch. Please just be asking, who goes there? The bulk of the creature was starting to make the table bow under its weight. If it didn't move soon, it would cause the whole thing to break. And then it would definitely know we're here. The smelling sound was getting closer as I saw the outline of its head start to move down in our view. It was about to see us. Fuck. We are dead. A loud scream caused it to suddenly snap its head back up and the table flipping over as it took off. We were completely bare to the world, but the creature didn't look back as it flew off into the night. We were all breathing heavily. We all started to get up. The danger was over. For now. I tried to move towards the door, but I was yanked back, Nate's tail still around me. Do you mind? Nate suddenly realized what was going on as he unraveled his tail and held it up against himself, like he was coddling a child. I'm sorry. Just a nervous reaction. It's alright. Just keep your tail to yourself next time. Nate went to say something, but Marcus interrupted him by smacking him, calling him a doof. What was a doof? No time for that. We need to find our way down. Okay, we need to find another way down. One that preferably isn't a straight fall to our doom. Keep it quiet, but look everywhere. Search each room. See if there's a basement or something. And if we don't find another way? How good are you with heights? It's not the heights that get to us, it's the sudden stop at the end of the fall. Then we best find another way down. My Pip-Boy beeped, notifying me that I had received a direct communications link. It was probably Onion.
Miss, I'm glad you're safe. I saw those two creatures and I feared the worst.
We're all fine, Onion. A tad rattled but unscathed. I'm gonna put this thing on mute. That notification noise might attract attention. If you don't hear from us in an hour, well, wait another hour. We'll be fine.
Miss, Shirley.
I disconnected the link. I know he was worried. He had the right to be. But I needed to maintain my focus, and the last thing I needed was to be reminded of how this whole thing was just a dumb and dangerous idea. It had to be done. If not for Holly's sake, then for these brothers. If I didn't do anything to help, they probably would have gotten themselves killed trying to rescue her. I hope I'm not about to do the same. Nate, what's the matter? Nate? Olivia, we need you to get down here. Marcus's voice was echoing as I instantly turned around towards the sound of his voice. Attached to the kitchen was a small closet-like room with a small set of stairs leading down. I ran down the stairs as fast as I could. Oh, please let them be okay. They were out of my sight for only a couple of minutes. The basement was dark, so I risked turning on my Pip-Boy. Shining it all around, I saw large crates scattered all over, along with heavy construction equipment. This is not the typical residential equipment I was used to seeing. This reminded me of... Oh no. I heard Marcus calling for me again, and I bolted towards where they were. Nate was facing a giant metal door, his entire body shaking. I could hear him... crying? Nate, I need you to focus. This isn't the same one. Remember why we're here. Remember Holly. Holly, no, I can't go back. I can't. I walked up to them and Marcus directed my eyes towards the metal door. I shone my Pip-Boy light on it. It was a symbol that I knew all too well. A symbol that was steadily driving me out of my fear and replacing it with anger and hate. Burrow Tech. This was a fucking Burrow. I knew I should have gone alone. I knew it. Something happened to these two in their burrow that caused so much harm to Nate that it was physically and mentally debilitating to him. He's your brother. What should we do? I don't know. I know this isn't our burrow, but I really don't want to have to face one. Not like this. I also know that it's the only way to free Holly. Nate, he had it rough. Rougher than you can ever imagine. You probably noticed, but just the mention of a burrow causes him pain. And seeing that symbol now, I don't know if he can make it. It's too late to leave him. If those things come back and find him like this while we're rescuing Holly, he's as good as dead. But what if Holly is... Don't you dare. Don't you fucking dare, Marcus. She is alive. The only way we can continue is if we do it together. We are her only hope. But we're worthless. No one likes us, and I doubt no one besides you would care enough to help us. You are not worthless. I don't fucking care what other people say. Right now, I don't fucking care about anyone else. Right now, right here, you two are the only ones who matter. If we do not snap him out of it, all of us, including Holly, might as well be dead. I can see why he likes you. Wait, does he mean... Ugh! Even in a time of duress, why do my thoughts keep wandering... there? I wonder if he... You know what? Fuck it. I caught Marcus off guard from the look of his face. I think he thought I was about to leave them. Not to do what I was probably going to regret later. I stomped over and placed myself between Nate and the door. His eyes were wide, tears falling from them. I couldn't tell if he even knew I was there. But hopefully, he would soon. I reached up and pulled him down so that our faces were right next to each other. Oh, please, don't let me regret this. And then, I kissed him. Nate's eyes started to calm down as I pulled my lips away from him. I had never kissed anyone before, especially not a boy. But it felt good. I wonder if it would have been any better if... No, bad Olivia, not now. What? What just happened? Where am I? Nate sounded dumbfounded rather than scared. It was a good start. Did you just kiss my brother? I had to do something to snap him out of it. And well, it seemed like the most logical choice at the time. You kissed me? Okay. Mind focus now? You good? Yes, I think. Holly in danger, ring any bells? Oh, Holly! Yeah! Okay, good boy. Now, to get this door open... Marcus? You and Nate go make sure we don't get any surprise visitors while I'm getting this door open. Don't you think that... Oh, gotcha. Hey, Nate? You with me, bro? I think I seen some sort of gizmo or something or other over there. Marcus's voice trailed off as he forced his still bumbling brother over to some nearby crates. I really hope that he's fine until we get out of here. If I have to snap him out of it again like that, I don't think I'll make it. I cleared my head and looked over the door. It was very solid, a typical Burrow door. It either had its hinges on the inside or it slid. Although based upon the surroundings, it was probably hinged. There should be... Bingo. Halfway up the door, there was a small sign that said Burrow Tech Personnel Only. I took out my screwdriver and removed the 4 screws that were holding it to the door. I tossed the sign over into a nearby corner and shone my light to now reveal the locking mechanism. These doors had 2 types of entry. First is a wireless access that was typically tied to the Pip-Bore or ID card of an authorized user. I could use my Pip-Bore to hack in wirelessly, but since I don't have the time to try to break through the encryption and risk sounding the alarms that might still be attached. The other way to get in was a small trick that my mother had shown me once when the overseer had locked all the rabbits in their quarters during Rodent Appreciation Day. I hated that holiday. On either side of the doors, usually behind a sign or an access panel, there was a manual access that was designed for emergencies only. By physically connecting my Pip-Bore and running a certain access code, it would open the door without tripping the security. Typically, only security personnel had these codes, but my mother always seemed to have a way of getting things she shouldn't be able to. Let's just hope that code is not tied specifically to my Burrow. Once my Pip-Bore was interfaced, I ran the activation signal. 4 seconds later, I was greeted by a series of clicks just before the door opened slowly. We're in. Let's go. I opened the door all the way. mainly to prevent Nate from seeing the symbol again. But unfortunately, Burrow liked using it repeatedly throughout the place. I just hope Nate doesn't have another breakdown. I just need to make sure they were both focused on the task at hand. Is he good? Yeah, he's still a little flustered, but good. What about you? I'm good. I'm sorry. I was letting my feelings of that place get the better of me. I'll promise it's not going to happen again. Better not. I don't want to have to kiss you too. Wait, what? You kissed... What? Nate seemed very confused. Marcus slapped him again. Now let's go, you doof. I chuckled a bit before leading them through the door. This was definitely going to be an interesting experience for all of us. This burrow must have been built much deeper than mine. The stairs leading down the main door felt like they were going on forever. When we finally reached the bottom, the very first thing I noticed was the burrow door was wide open. Since it had been retracted inside, I was unable to see what design it was. Not that that mattered, I was just curious. I checked my sensors but was not picking up anything. The ceiling was still intact, so they must be getting in and out deeper inside the actual compound. There was more construction equipment nearby, but unlike the ones above, these were much larger. The burrow door was nearly twice in diameter as 76 was. If I'm not mistaken, I would think that this was designed for the larger species, and that they built the house above after sending the workers down here. What, you mean the workers were building their own home? Marcus was busy making sure Nate didn't have another episode. So far, he seemed to be doing good. That's what it looks like. There's no way this equipment could fit up those stairs, let alone a rhino, elephant, or hippo. You're right. Maybe there's another way? Possibly, but we can't worry about that. I want to get Holly and get the fuck out of here, and I'm guessing you want to do the same. Yeah, the sooner we leave this place, the better. Are you good, Nate? I think... hi. Oh, you're fine, let's go. So far, so good. There was no sign of any deathwings. There wasn't really any sign of life. We passed a few large skeletons, probably the workers who the equipment belonged to, but thankfully nothing dangerous. I shuddered at the thought of running into ghouls and deathwings. I would probably just surrender right then and there and let them have their way with me. Unlike my burrow, this place was very plain. 76 was nothing to brag about in the looks department, but it at least had cables, conduits, and piping running through it, breaking up the monotony. This place, however, felt lifeless. Solid steel walls with no breaks in them, no pipes, no cables, nothing breaking it up. It made it feel like the corridors were much longer than they were, and there was also a severe lack of doors. I don't think this place is like the other ones. Marcus spooked me when he spoke. His quiet voice was like a ghost whispering in my ear. I was thinking the same thing. A sudden noise caused us all to stop. I checked my pip-bore. 3 dots appeared in front of us, and they were moving in our direction. Fuck, and there's no place to hide. They must have seen my expression because both of their faces stiffened. I looked down the dimly lit hallway. Only emergency lights were on, so it wasn't completely illuminated. There were no signs of movement, but the dots were getting closer. Something is coming right at us and I can't get a visual. There's nowhere to hide. They looked around as we started back towards the entrance. The dots were almost on us. Still, nothing. They were getting closer and closer and went right past us? Oh yeah, I forgot to mention something. Pip-bores have no way of tracking if it's above or below the user. This time I did smack Nate. That would have been good to know earlier. Sorry. Guess I didn't think about it. I keep forgetting how much of a doof you are with that thing. What the fuck is a doof? Well, you know what? Never mind. In that case, we need to keep our ears and eyes open. Seems like we can't rely on sensors. We kept moving through the never-ending corridors. I had no idea where we were going. And even if this was a standard Burrow layout, there could be countless places that they could have taken her. I have no idea how the builders managed to traverse this place. There weren't any signs or anything that pointed us in a particular direction. I didn't even see a terminal. Maybe this wasn't a burrow. Maybe this was supposed to be like a research facility, like the one where I found Mr. Big. How are you holding up, mate? I had to periodically ask him that. Last thing we need is to run into trouble and have him freeze up. I'm fine, I think. This place feels weird. I get what you mean, bro. I never thought we would ever come back to a place like this. No, that's not what I meant to say is there are no rooms. Not anything that would make this place into a home. It's been bothering the hell out of me too, Nate. By now we should have run into something like that. We took another turn that led to the same nothingness that we had been through so far. The scanner showed movement all over the place, but as long as we didn't see anything down one of the corridors, we were safe. When we turned down the next corridor, we finally saw some resemblance of a typical burrow. Gray doors lined the hallway, alternating sides. There was something a bit off on their placement, however. You think Holly could be in one of them? It's possible, Marcus, but I just don't know. Look at their placement. You two stay here. I'm gonna go check them out. I went over to the nearest door. It looked very vibrant in color. Too vibrant. I went to access the hidden lock, but when my screwdriver touched what I thought was screws, it tore the door. What the fuck? I scraped the screwdriver against the door and soon realized it wasn't a door. I moved the tool to one edge and started to peel the door off the wall. It was a fucking picture. Did you just scrape the door off the wall? I went to the next one and it was the same thing. Every single door was a picture plastered on the wall. What the fuck was this place? They're all fake. Who the fuck plasters pictures of doors where there should be real ones? Tell me, who? I was panting in anger when I looked over to the brothers. They were scared. Oh boy. You really did it, Olivia, didn't you? Sorry I got a little frustrated. It's fine. Hello? Marcus pointed and I followed his paw past where I was. Standing at the end of the hallway was a Deathwing. Fuck me. I pulled out my gun and aimed it. But it simply continued to stare at us. At me. Why do I feel like it was looking only at me? I saw it take the claw that was attached to its arm-like wing and scratch at its neck. Then I saw something familiar. A small red light flashing on and off. Was that a... This just became much more difficult for me. It's not attacking. Olivia? Why is it not attacking? I don't know, Marcus, but... And I'm being serious here. I don't think it wants to. What do you mean? We're sitting targets here. Why doesn't it just attack? Before I could answer, it stopped scratching at its neck and turned and walked away. I'm following it. What? Marcus and Nate yelled that simultaneously before they each slapped their own paws over their mouths. It's a hunch. Look, if it wanted to kill us, it would have. If it wanted to call for its friends, it would have. But it didn't. So I'm going to see where it goes. And if you don't like that, well, the exit is that way. No, we are not leaving without Holly. Just don't get us killed. Or eaten. I make no promises. Let's go, boys. A collective sigh fell across them as they reluctantly followed. They were probably right, and it was most likely leading us into a trap. But what if my hunch was right? What if it really didn't want to hurt us? If I wasn't mistaken, it didn't have an itch, but rather it was trying to show me the collar around its neck. A collar that looked a lot like the one in my bag. My mind was now torn between savagery and intelligence. If that thing had attacked us, it would have made things so much easier for me. I slowly led the way down where the Deathwing went. As I turned the corner, I saw it, standing there just before moving down another corridor. It was leading us someplace. A trap, a feast. Maybe Holly befriended it, and since I was a rabbit, he thought I was with her. Whatever it was, I just couldn't ignore it. I had to find out. The creature finally led us to a hallway with no visible connecting ones. It was a dead end. Oh, fuck. Was this a trap? This is feeling like a trap. I looked back towards Nate and Marcus. They must have had the same thoughts I did. I gripped the handle of my gun as I prepared to enter bats. The Deathwing knelt down, as if it was going to charge. It was now or never. But then it disappeared into the ceiling. I checked my sensor, but there was no dot coming towards us. Olivia? Look. I looked where the Deathwing was. It was a door. Instantly I knew it was a real door. Above it was a sign. Nate must have seen it as well because his eyes were starting to get wide again. I put my paw on his and I felt him trembling. But it was not as strong as before. Hold it together, Nate. Remember, we're here for Holly. And don't make me kiss you again. His trembling faded a bit as his face became more serious. He was still scared, but I don't think he's going to lose it again. We all faced the door and stood there for a second. The sign was bringing back memories of my own. Overseer's office. I took the first step towards the door, but a screaming caused the foxes to suddenly push me aside as they sprinted towards the door. They reached the door and it was slightly ajar. Marcus was the first one there as he forced the door open, causing its slam to echo through the halls. When I caught up to them, I had to shove myself between them. Inside was something out of a horror story. The tunnel from the surface led straight into this room. The room was massive, but it was so torn apart I couldn't tell if it was built like this, or if the Deathwings had expanded it. On the walls were large poles, at least 100 of them, and on nearly every single one was a Deathwing, hanging upside down, its wings covering them like a blanket. Oh, fuck me. Holy! Marcus caused my concentration to focus on the center of the room. It was filled with computers and tubes, and what looked like medical equipment. In the middle was a large metal structure, placed vertically to the ground. Tied to it was a rabbit. Hoses coming out from her body and connecting to the machine. She looked terrible. Holly managed to look up at us, and I think she was trying to smile.
Well, my boys, I didn't think...
Holly! Marcus tried to race over to her, but I had to stop him as 2 Deathwings landed on either side.
I'm not gone a day, and you already find another rabbit?
Holly! It's not like that!
Well, what do we have here? A rather pitiful attempt at a rescue, I imagine.
A Deathwing walked towards me. I think it was the same one as before, because it was scratching at its neck again. At first I thought it was the Deathwing speaking, until it moved to the side, revealing a large boar with brown fur that had started to gray with his age. A white streak of hair went between his eyes and over his head, almost like he had painted it on himself. The boar was wearing a black suit with a white tie that matched the white on his head. Who the hell are you, and what are you doing to her?
Oh, just a little hobby I'm working on the rabbit. One that you 3 will become very acquainted with soon enough. Now, I've wasted too much of your time. Get them.
I went to draw my gun, but 3 Deathwings fell from above us, pinning us to the ground. They grabbed each of us and stood us up as another dragged in a couple more of those standing tables. I tried to struggle, but it was no use. They were too strong, and they had caught us off guard. My head was trying to formulate a plan. It was no use. Nothing I could think of would help. I looked over to Holly, whose expression had just turned from a smile to sorrow, anger, fear. I couldn't tell. To her, I'm probably just some dumb bunny who just got her friends killed. I should have listened to myself earlier. I work better alone. And now I've just doomed these two to whatever horrors Holly has faced. There was only one thing I could think to say. I'm sorry.